Welcome to Boxing During Dinner, and Armando is dead. I'm going to tell you why in a second, but before we do, this delicious food is being delivered to me. This is sight unseen. Oh, wow. This is a double whammy. All right. I'm really excited. I had asked for chicken and spinach because I'm always trying to watch my figure. Armando's married and I'm not, so I've still got to find somebody. 2 plates. This is not even what I was counting on. This is really exciting news for me. And hold on. Third plate coming. This is my side of the rigatoni and vodka sauce with the chicken from RANDAZZO'S. It's all mixed in there. And Alex is actually getting one of these, but in a much larger portion. And you'll probably see that in just a second, too. Oh, actually, I see it, and it's walking in right now. Congratulations, Alex. Look at this sweet magic that's coming to your plate. Bingo. Daddy's home. Daddy is home. Thank you. RANDAZZO'S Little Italy in Coral Gables. Yeah, go ahead. Where he's going to sprinkle some cheese on Alex's pasta. None for me. I'm good over here. I think a little more cheese is going to ruin my bathroom tonight. We'll put the TP in the refrigerator. But so Armando's dead. He's not. He's actually home sick. Unfortunately, his wife is taking care of him. Armando's a little under the weather tonight. We look forward to having him back next week, although this is my chance to shine, so I'm going to embrace it. Before we get into the fights from the weekend that we want to recap and a little bit looking forward, we unfortunately come with a little bit of sad news. For those of us who have been very deep fans of the sport and following even guys who are a little bit under the radar, news this week comes that Omar Henry, a rising prospect at 154 pounds, passed away at the age of 25 after a brief but brave battle with gallbladder cancer. Interesting perspective for us as Boxing During Dinner. We had a chance to meet Omar on several occasions, but most recently back in June of 2012 when he fought at the Hollywood Hard Rock, which is here in South Florida. I had the chance to interview Omar myself, a really funny, bright, engaging guy. I mean, we're Boxing During Dinner, and I recognize that there are a lot of other higher established people who could have been talking to him, but that night made it feel as if I were the only reporter in the room, and he always gave people his time like that. When he was on Twitter, he was known as the Twitter king out of all boxers, pound for pound. Omar Henry was #1 on Twitter, and very well had a chance to be something special in the ring. For those who watched him at 154, he had all the skills. He had the power. He had the speed. He had the flashiness, the bravado, and was, in fact, right before he discovered that he was unfortunately battling gallbladder cancer, was about to be the headliner, on a Showtime card on November 16th, also here in South Florida at the Gulfstream Racetrack and Casino. And as fate would have it, just 3 short months later, Omar is no longer with us. He was a blessing to those around him, a true star in and out of the ring, and he's gone too soon. And this is unfortunately something I feel like we're saying a little too often in boxing lately. And just in life in general, it's an opportunity to remember that we need to cherish those around us. And for anybody who knew Omar, we cherished him. Also this weekend, and we'll move on to fights that did happen, Juan Manuel Lopez returned to the ring after a suspension for some terrible comments that he made in the ring after his knockout loss to Orlando Salido. Comes back against a no-name Brazilian guy who can't really knock anybody out or crack an egg. Juanma does and follows the script. 9th round TKO victory. The referee steps in at the right appropriate time and stops the fight. I remain unimpressed with where Juanma is in his career. Anybody who saw him fight Orlando Salido knows that this guy absolutely is not using his skill set the way that it should be used. He's a power puncher. We've known that about Lopez. He's got 30-plus knockouts on his record, but he gets hit far too often and he doesn't have the chin to sustain it. For a light puncher to go in the ring with him, it doesn't prove anything because that's not the kind of guy who's going to give Juanma trouble, and that's never the kind of guy who has given Juanma trouble. So put him in the ring against a puncher like Donaire. Put him in the ring against somebody like Gamboa. Juan Manuel Lopez is not back, and if he continues to fight this way, which I expect that he will, Juan Manuel Lopez will never be back. He's a shell of himself, unfortunately. Still exciting to watch, much in the way the guys like Alfredo Angulo are at 154 pounds, but he may one day claim a title belt again, but he will never be a legitimate champion unless he changes his ways and decides to stop trading. There are still a lot of exciting fights for him. I think the Gamboa fight, which seemed to be dead in the water, is absolutely now alive and a possibility, given the fact that Gamboa has not looked sharp in his most recent fight after an 18-month layoff. In addition to the fact that now he's in a PED scandal, Juanma versus Gamboa is still absolutely a good fight to be made for two guys who absolutely need some good press. Another opportunity is that all Puerto Rico face-off, if you will, between Wilfredo Vasquez and Juanma as well, that people have clamored for several years. Almost happened when Juanma returned this time, but a sticking issue was the weight. Juanma wants to fight at 130, and Vasquez doesn't want to go past featherweight. Is that going to be an issue down the line? We hope not. If big money presents itself, I think that a matter of 3 or 4 pounds is not going to be a sticking point for much longer. The other big issue in the boxing world right now remains the fighter that everybody wants to see back in the ring because he's the cash cow and the one who creates controversy and buzz and that gets even casual fan talking, is Floyd Mayweather, who remains the topic of conversation for over 6 weeks now about who is he going to fight on May 4th. Well, as of the time that we're recording here tonight, we still don't have an answer. The reason, and as rumor tells you again, you may see this episode on Wednesday and we may have an answer before that, but Canelo Alvarez is supposed to be the B-side to this card, and Canelo is at a point in his career now where he feels that he is the A-side. Well, unfortunately, Mayweather's numbers prove otherwise. Canelo, while he is rising quite quickly and is going to be the cash cow in boxing, is not that guy right now. Floyd Mayweather looks like he's going to fight Robert Guerrero, and Canelo Alvarez looks like he's going to fight Austin Trout. The sticking point at this point remains that Canelo wants a guarantee that should he win his fight, he gets to fight Floyd Mayweather in September. In addition, he's trying to ask for more money than he's probably going to get because he's sharing the card with Mayweather. If both of these guys get their maximum paydays, it's not a feasible card, and that prevents them basically from, putting the pay-per-view at a reasonable price. That's not going to happen. I think what's ultimately going to happen is that Canelo is going to recognize that he needs to play his role while he is still not the guy. Mayweather gets Guerrero, Canelo gets Trout, and I'm not even convinced that Canelo gets that fight at the right price and beats Trout. I'm here to believe that Austin Trout proved in many ways he beat the name at 154 pounds in Miguel Cotto. Now, that's just not the biased Miguel Cotto fan saying that. That's a lot of credible boxing scribes. Miguel Cotto ranked at number 1 at 154 for the better part of 2 years. Canelo Alvarez is in for a serious fight if he steps in with Austin Trout, and I think that Austin Trout is the one who's going to upset the apple cart. This is all hypothetical, though, until we finally see contracts signed on the dotted line, like Rios Alvarado, which is the only one that I know recently that's actually had pen to paper. Everything else is just hearsay, but that's what boxing is all about. We're the biggest rumor mill, and boxing is kind of like a soap opera for men who don't want to tune in and watch telenovelas on Telemundo or Univision, whichever it is that you're tuning into, or any at all, because I'm not watching them. That is your brief introduction to Boxing During Dinner this week. We missed Armando. Alex, did you miss Armando? Yeah, we missed Armando. Our little guy's home. His wife's taking care of him. Probably propped him up on the couch and lifted him and put him in his booster seat and fed him some soup. We can't wait to see him back next week. And in the meantime, I have a lot of work to do. RANDAZZO'S Little Italy. If you ever in Coral Gables or in South Florida in general, do not miss this place. Come check them out. We're going to have information up on Facebook and Twitter and our new Instagram account. Also look for Boxing During Dinner to keep you tracked on most of the information that we can get to you as quickly as possible about the boxing world. I'm hungry. I'm ready to eat. We'll see you next week.